Okay, excellent. Okay, we're just getting started. All right, I'm going to go ahead and bring our city council meeting to order for this Monday, March 25th, 2024. Let's go ahead and stand for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just a quick roll call. Councilor Winter. Sorry, I didn't see you were taking a bite.
He picked you first on purpose.
Sorry. Councilor Winter. Councilor Williams, yes, it's working, it's working. Councilor Rich.
Here.
Councilor Myers.
Here.
All right, we're waiting for Councilor Cuthbertson. I'm thinking.
Here.
Oh, you are here. Oh, okay, you're online. Excellent. Okay. So, okie dokie. Sheriff, we've got you up for, actually, let's do our public comments first and then we'll have you up, sir. Perfect. Okay, so who would like to read 2.1 tonight?
Go for it.
I'm excusing you because I interrupted you.
Sure.
Okay, great, thank you. Go ahead.
All right, 2.1 note, the public comment period is designed to gain input from the public. Public comment is not intended to be a dialogue between the council, staff, and any person making a comment. Any person who raises a question during public comment should rest assured that the city staff is making a note of your question, and the council and staff will work together to identify the appropriate city official to follow up with you directly.
Perfect, thank you. Do we have any public comments this evening? Go ahead and come up to the mic here, Commissioner Eastridge. I know, I'm very sorry. You have to be official around here. You gonna bring it up? Cool, thank you, Steve. It's a traveling mic. Should come out of there.
This won't take very long.
Well, you have 3 minutes.
I'll probably take about 30 seconds.
Okay.
So I've been asked by several townspeople why we can't fix potholes around here. Yeah, I just wondered if summer is looking at pothole fixing.
Where are the potholes?
Where are they not?
No, specifically, where are the potholes that you would like fixed?
Commercial Street. I know in front of my son's house for sure. Where he lives. And on up into the by the water tanks. There's
Okay.
potholes developing in that first area that within the city limits for sure. And that was asphalted, I don't know, a couple years ago. No, it was more than a couple years ago, but the county had extra asphalt, so they donated it to the city all the way up to the water tank, the old water tanks. And that's starting to crack and develop quite a substantial pothole system. And Main Street has a few. But, it's just a matter of going around, putting some asphalt in.
We each year, public works staff have been fixing potholes.
Right.
I am in contact with Mr. Gordon Kurtz, but he's an associate engineer at Benton County. He referred me to Gary Sockoff, the director. They apparently, they do not do the kind of little things like that anymore unless the property owners on a public road in the county request it. And at that point, they sometimes will work out a project where they have another project going on and combine it. But I will find out more from him on that. Otherwise, those are all great topics for the Public Works Committee. Is develop a work plan.
Yeah. Now, was there talk at one point about vacating 11th Street on the north side? There's a couple houses right there.
It's not really a street up at that, it's property that's being used as a driveway.
Well, I've always known it as kind of a cutoff street right there for the park, or parking area.
Yeah, it's really not, it's not designated as a street, it's just city property. It's not even an easement, it's actually city property.
Property.
Yeah,
You guys aren't planning on getting rid of that, right?
no. The only one that we had talked about, this was in planning commission, was the property that's being used as a driveway for 3 homes up there, right next to the park.
Right.
Okay,
Where it curves up to the right.
yeah, where it goes to the right, not to the left, or straight ahead. The straight ahead piece, we have to have, that is city property, but it's also where all of our water pipes and everything else is also the bottom act, as you pointed out, the lower access to the park.
Okay.
No, but we have no intention whatsoever, that's our access.
I hate to see the city give up any more property than they have.
Yeah, the only one that was under consideration was the one that people are using for a driveway, because are we responsible for people's driveways? I mean, it's an open question. It hasn't been resolved.
Thank you, Commissioner Eastridge. Steve will grab that mic for me. Any other public comments? Excuse me. Okay, going once.
I have a question related.
Okay, go ahead.
It's not intended to engage in a dialogue, just wondering whose responsibility is it to fill in the potholes with the post office? Is that city?
No,
No, that's the post office.
that's the post office. It's actually not the post office. It's actually their landlord, and we're in, both the postmaster and the city administrator are in communication, or attempting to communicate with the landlord.
Got it. I wondered, okay, thank you.
Okay, going twice. 3 times, so we're done. Okay, all right, Sheriff, you're up, sir.
Does he need a rep? Oh, there he goes.
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Can you see me all right?
We can see you too.
I'm going to apologize for that because I know my face is enormous on that screen in there, so I'm super sorry about that. At least you didn't call me when I was trying to eat something like you did. Poor
Councilor
Spencer over there.
I apologize.
Tonight. I'm assuming y'all have the report there. Do you have any questions about the report? And you might understand that Councilor Culp is online. Is Jeannie online?
Yes, she is.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Just want to make sure if she had any questions and make sure she has access to this as well.
Nope, I'm good. I'm here.
Okay, perfect.
Normally, if she does, she'll pipe up and she'll let you know.
Oh, I know. I just want to make sure she could hear me.
Okay.
I think one thing, so they, ODOT did approve and they're going to be putting in new signs, one day when they get around to it. To 25 miles per hour going through town on 99.
Okay.
And so, I don't know, I know the speeding and stuff coming down the coming into town through both ways is always an issue. And, so, I mean, I think we definitely would like to, you know, especially when the speed changes and stuff and.
Well, and one thing I spoke to the city administrator about earlier was that very thing, the traffic rolling through town. And I'm going to have Captain Duffett begin addressing that in each briefing and have this and make sure that gets disseminated down to the sergeants and then to the patrol level, just to make sure they're paying attention to the speeds in town.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm sure there's going to be a learning curve for people coming through town once they.
Yes and no. Unfortunately,
Once they realize those signs are up.
People drive too fast, and it's not just driving through Monroe on 99. You go up on Highway 20, and where they've built that little turnout now, so you can go on Independence Highway. We get people all the time. They'll turn out and they'll take off and pass a bunch of people, and so we sit up on the other end and get people up there in the high 70s, and it's unacceptable up there as well. So,
Councilor Lindner, did you want to ask the question about the mail theft?
It was sort of resolved.
Oh,
but
okay.
Not exactly. It showed up days later by a neighbor.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
oh.
Yeah,
Well, I will tell you that we did have a pretty significant, I think we talked about this a meeting or two ago, just about the significant mail theft we experienced around the new year, the holidays. And as a result of one of your community members down there and their cameras on some of their exterior buildings, we were able to get those. And Steve and I have started kind of preliminary just talking about, cameras in the city and how we can maybe try and do that and get a couple of cameras up on some of the city stuff, like at the community center or the library, maybe, I'm not certain, but just ways to make sure we can kind of target harden some of the stuff down there a little.
yeah, I did set up a camera on my front porch also. There's just a giant camellia bush between, I mean, that's, yeah, even if it was directed toward activity happening on the street, it probably wouldn't have been helpful in this particular case. But
Okay.
I remember that conversation. It definitely inspired me to get a camera to help pitch in for other community goings on, maybe further.
Right. It never hurts. And one of the first things we do anymore in an investigation is we hit the neighborhood and look for camera and video, because, something may happen 2 blocks over, but they may have driven by your house. And if we have a suspect vehicle, then we can start putting a timeline together. Once you have a timeline, you're golden from there. So
Okay.
I'm a fan of the cameras for that regard. I'm not a fan of like speeding cameras and things like that. I prefer personal interaction. So
Any other questions for the chair?
I will tell you, in the conversations also with Steve, as a result of the biennium, our contract does not increase with you next year. It will stay the same again. And I just want to make sure that you're aware of that. There's no increase in the next year as it relates to contractual services with the sheriff's office. And then I also talked about the town hall idea, and I love it. I think it's an amazing idea, and I'm all in. If you give me a date or two, we'll make that happen. I think that's great.
Also, another thing that was brought up was maybe at that town hall, one of the topics possible. I mean, there's people that have discussed, wanting more presence in town. And I know that might be addressed with our contract.
Right. And then, and like I told Steve, my crime analyst is on vacation right now. I need to see what kind of impact that'll have over a calendar year. I want to make sure we're able to provide you those services that you're paying for. And so I just want to make sure that we're all everything's transparent. We're on the same sheet of music moving forward.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And mostly just so that the conversation could be had if we.
Right. Absolutely.
If people want to go that
I
route.
agree wholeheartedly. I think it's beneficial.
Great. Any other comments?
Sorry I can't be there this evening, but
That's okay.
you guys probably survive without me, and you get to look at my giant head on the screen in there.
You're actually to scale to everybody else's heads because there are a few different screens, so.
Perfect.
You go home and you can tell your family your head's in scale, so you're fine.
My head's in scale.
All right, well, thank you, sir. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Take
Have a
care.
great night. If you need anything, give me a holler.
Great, thank you, sir. Take care. All right, Steve, you're up, sir.
All righty, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll start with works team. They are now beginning to gel and roll. This week, we are starting our spring activities, which will conclude at the end of spring. Then we have summer activities. I feel like. Anyway. So one of the things that we do right now is, we have a mowing schedule that we're going to post this year. So we're developing that for so if anyone wants to know when parks are going to get mowed or this, that, and the other, we will have a schedule. And so with 2 individuals, we are training Luke on the larger tractor mowing piece. We had to get a part for the John Deere mower deck, actually, so we can do the park piece. And so as the rain is not going to be as intense as we thought it was going to be, we can start mowing in between cloudbursts between now and then. As we all know, the grass mows very quickly. On the same note, the billing this month, we will be having a reminder, the friendly reminder to keep your grass mowed. But I just want to let you know that the parks, this is becoming, this is when we go out and start to make sure that our parks, the limbs get trimmed. We still have a fair amount of downed limbs and cracked limbs. I will have to get someone at the city park where the big limb crushed our bleachers. It's damaged up above, and I need to make sure that that gets trimmed by someone with a lift and bonded and licensed to make sure that that oak is correctly trimmed and pruned, so that we don't have a widowmaker or something come down on kids when they start their baseball here shortly. So with that, I get emails from time to time from the Hope Advisory Committee. They're the folks that are working with the homeless issues and advocacy. They are having a meeting on 3/27 from 4 to 6 p.m. up at the Research Way in Benton County. I'm just mentioning that to you in case you folks would like, councilor would like to be involved with that. I believe they are also online, but I just wanted to point that out. We covered the law enforcement IG in town hall with the sheriff. That's great. I am still in conversation with Darren Nichols. We meet again next week. Darren Nichols is the planning director for Benton County, and we are going to be starting the process for the UGB land swap. We've been talking, now it's time to actually start contacting. We need to contact DLCD. We need to go through the process of working with the county commissioners and their planning commission to see how this is going to work out. At that point, we start public notice where we start notifying property owners and citizens that we're going to be going through this process. And DLCD is involved, Department of Lands. They're the caretakers and bulldogs for anything of land use. So lots of hoops, as I keep mentioning to people. I've had several developers call me interested in buying the properties, but the stone properties is referred to them as, whether city water is available, etc. I will mention, because this has been, there is an Oregon OAR, Oregon Administrative Rules from the DLCD regarding extension of water and sewer to lands outside of a UGB. Our ordinances allow it upon council approval, but the DLCD has very, very squinty eyes. As long as it doesn't increase the base density of the land, the DLCD will consider it. If you're providing water so someone can increase the density, in other words, right now that property is rule 2, okay? So 2 acre minimum. If someone wanted to come in and put a density, say of Red Hills in there, DLCD would not approve of it. And that's Oregon, that's in the Oregon statutes. If we annex it, going through the UGB land swap process, then all those barriers are removed. So I've been explaining that both to the Stones and to the brothers, the siblings, the Stones. And I think we have a few online right now, as a matter of fact. And also to the developers who are asking me questions about, can we extend water, can we extend sewer, etc. And I'm making sure that everyone understands the criteria. The state is very particular about this.
And is the reason that OAR exists, is it to preserve natural space or
Yes.
agricultural space?
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay, it's not, okay.
That's what it's there for. And that is like any, Oregon's land use laws are I think amongst the strictest, if not the strictest in the country. I would say that you have to go through many, many hoops if you want to get anything done in this system.
But if the land swap was to fail, that might be an option for if they keep the 2 acre lot sizes.
Right, if we do the neighborhood, I think if I'm,
Because I know that one of the concerns about
right,
developing those was basically putting in the,
High density housing?
basically dealing with sewer and
Right.
water runoff and all that kind of stuff
And-
into Red Hills.
exactly. And the folks that I've spoken to fully support actually on this, particularly on the 20 acre between Coon Road. The county fully supports us. If we had to make an application to LCD, they would fully support us making the argument that specifically that property there, we would be abating a potential health hazard, quoting the words in the OAR. And by providing water, we are also ensuring that the water tables, et cetera, are maintained on that hillside. So we do have some argument for that. Even if it stays RR2, there's good argument to provide city services to at least that section of it. And you know, we would still get maybe 30 homes instead of 55 homes, but the city could easily.
But it's good to have that option and to be able to
Yes.
protect the Red Hills folks
I
from.
fully agree, and by extending water or doing those things, we would extend it down along the fence line, which gives us an option of putting in French drains and other things also that probably should have been put in at the time when Red Hills developed. So, but no one really quite understood the fact that a couple feet under the ground, all over Monroe, is a roaring stream of water.
Mhm.
And it comes up under your homes, it comes up under anything, comes up under the library. I'm gonna have to deal with that this year. Yeah, so I just want to give you that report that there's been a lot of discussion. There's been a lot of folks interested in buying property and developing it in town. The next 5 years could be very exciting in that regard. So park schedules, I will leave our quarterly municipal court date is Wednesday. We have a couple traffic citations to hear by Judge Blake, but the big one will be talking about our case of Monroe versus Terrell. And so we will find out what the next steps are Wednesday.
This is the house. up
Yes.
Marshall.
You'll find out.
We posted it in front of the house per Judge Blake's written order, and it was taken down the next day. So we'll talk and see how that works. I had an opportunity to meet with professional janitors, janitorial crews, and specifically the library. And it was quite eye-opening, actually, listening to professionals, because they see things immediately that you just kind of overlook. One of the interesting things is the baseboards, particularly in the lobby area, all look like someone's run maybe a buffer up against it. And so it looks like warm. And he says, no, that's moisture. We have moisture seeping out from underneath the building, which doesn't surprise me because of the water tables and everything else. So we're gonna have to go underneath and assess what that is. Yeah, it's not inexpensive to do the professional janitorial recommendations. So that's something we're gonna have to work out during budget. The Junior Dragons are starting their practices. We will be having a different application than we have in the past. They're not really volunteers with the city. They're their own group, so we need a separate agreement with them, just like an MOU, if you will, but basically stating you're going to take care of the park, the inside of the ballpark, the things you're going to pick up after your events, etc. In exchange, you get to use it for your practices and your games. The second part is, and they've done this, is they are increasing their bond, their insurance to $2 million from $1 million that they had, and we're the named insured on that. We went through a LEDS audit. LEDS is the law enforcement data system, and even though we don't have the computer screen in front of us yet, the Judge Blake and the state is wanting us to do it. Let's just put it, anyone who's involved with traffic citations and that type of thing, they want us to be online. I've done the audits, IT audits in the past. I did so for Sweet Home and for Philomath when we were actively at the Council of Governments, and our department had that. So I know what's involved. This audit was basically a paper audit. They wanted to see how we're doing things. And they had some suggestions, but nothing was terrible, other than I need to recertify myself. There's online training. Don does as well. We need to make sure that our filing cabinet with everything is moved to our server room that we has partially constructed in the back area and locked. That's about the only thing that they would, even though this file cabinet is fireproofed and is a locked position, it's in a public area. So if it's in a public area, basically, well, number one, it can't be in a public area, but all staff who have access to it also have to go through LEDS training. So we're just gonna move it back to where it was intended to go and take care of it. Other than that, oh, last but not least, rents. Mayor Sheets sent me a text this afternoon, asked if I knew anything about Val Hoyle's office and a $600,000. And I had all but forgotten about it because this was like last year and it was a long application, but this is the ask money that each senator and representative gets a pot of money to spend. And so I worked with Dan Whelan at the time. He helped me with the application. It was a federal application, not like Representative Gomberg, which was basically talk to him and
You made it
make sure the
happen.
mayor and make
And
sure
he
the
took care
mayor,
of
he and the
it,
mayor
yeah.
get to be buddies and everything works out. In this case, the feds want you to fill out everything, next to kin, firstborn, all that. And I basically at that point thought, well, wasn't gonna work, but apparently
It did.
it did.
Yes.
So it's an additional $600,000
To be used toward,
water system,
that's amazing.
right? So when I went out, you guys, well, all of you told me to go out and apply as much as I could, so I
Thank you
did.
so much.
And that was a hard one, but I gave up on it. I didn't think that would ever work.
Yeah.
But it did.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah.
You have, and we've been working with the county on our path. There is an issue with that path being still a rail bed. And that rail bed, when the county purchased it, they had to still keep it able or capable of being turned back into tracks. Yeah,
Oh,
so even though, as they're telling me, this could be a 1 in a zillion chance of that ever happening, I have to work now with the county to figure out how that's going to actually happen, because if it has to be built to rail standards, the cost would be impossible. We're already dealing with the crossing on Depot Street, how that's going to actually work and how if we are going to need to require Mr. Oakes, who wants to develop that property, if he has that crossing has to be developed to rail standards.
Wow.
So that conversation just started today. That's when I asked,
Should have asked me, I knew they had to be left for a rail.
the county now is saying that any development of it has to be to rail standards. That's what they're,
Yeah. So are they gonna help us with the cost then?
the conversation started today at 1 PM. So, or 1:34 PM actually is when I called, so we will see.
I mean,
be possible to put a pathway in parallel to it?
Well,
I mean, that's
I
kind of
really,
redundant, right?
the other thing too.
It's 40
is
feet
that
wide, though.
Is does it actually have to be, I will have to talk to our grant folks about this. Paving was the first option, but if you look at the Red Hills path, that method of construction also works. And that's putting down that very fine gravel, packing it in. There are other ways, and that is also ADA compliant as well. So there's other ways we might be able to get this to accomplish what we need to accomplish. It's just that this throws a twist in it.
yeah, I was kind of worried, I mean, because we have a street down here, Sixth Street, that's, used to have the rail go through it.
Right.
Why couldn't we do the same thing up there?
I don't see why not. It's just that this conversation went from something easy.
Well, I know, but if we don't grade out the rail bed and the rail bed's left and we build up around it, I think we could do it, but
I'm gonna have to see what the county, so I'm in conversation now with Joe Martis, basically the surveyors, and director, and with Gordon Kurtz, the associate engineer. So I'm in conversation now to see how that's gonna work. What brought this up was Monroe Tel wants to lay fiber along that.
Mm.
And so the question is, can they just dig a trench and trench it? Or do they have to put in conduit like you would if you went along a real easement?
Yeah,
And so that's what precipitated the discussion.
gotcha.
So I'll bring that up. This is to be continued, to be determined.
So you're saying we might have fiber optic cable someday?
Oh, no, they already have,
Sorry, we don't, I won't.
I really would like the entire town of Monroe,
it would be
but we
nice.
did not ask them to do that in our franchise agreement, so that was an option. I think at the time, Counselor had suggested that we didn't do that. That we didn't force them to do that.
That was when I was not on the council because I
Okay.
would I would have screamed and hollered. Sorry.
That's what
I did the first
it
time,
was- It
actually.
was discussed.
When we had a cable people come through and I said, let them come through. And then they could talk with Monroe Hotel to take care of it. They all voted it down because it was gonna contribute to Monroe Hotel going down.
Oh, well, our franchise is that we did put in. It is non-exclusive. Another company can come into town and
Yeah,
lay fiber.
Mhm.
The fiber that is there is part of the Southwest Oregon corridor, research corridor. It extends all the way across 58 and down into CenturyLink, down to Sprague River actually is where it connects. Cave Falls, it goes through Sprague River, then over to Cave Falls. And it goes up to basically up the Willamette Valley, but it's Peak. And out of Philomath is actually the terminus at that end. Peak then Comcast, formerly when they were TCI Cable connected there. And they extend all the way over to Sweet Home.
do they connect into that main line that goes
Yes.
up 5?
Up and then, no, that's a separate, that's level 3.
That's level 3?
That's level 3 that does that. This is Southwest Oregon Research Corps. However, they're all looped.
Okay.
Yeah, and then they sublease it to different ISPs and whatnot. So
Yeah.
Monroe
So-
Hotel basically.
That fiber I'm
Gets there
talking
from
about
there.
sits underneath the brick building, underneath Main Street, underneath that brick building that's between Misty's and Reina's building, a Christmas
Oh.
Junction and Reina's building. And that's my report, except for one last item, and this is an advisory. We do have a yellow water disconnect notice on the resale center.
Okay.
So we have extended and extended and extended. It's been over a year now. So
Wow.
it's gone as much as I think the city should allow to do that. I feel badly, but the other folks, we had one other disconnect, but that person paid,
Resolved it.
Yeah,
resolved it.
there's a,
Is it true that it's not the resale center's property, it's that their landlord is not taking care of the bill?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so the owner is completely separate. That's the Butlers. It's Andrea Hooper, who has Boss Hogs, which we believe is what uses the water for the food trucks, and that's speculation. That's what I've been told. The resale center, I can't imagine uses hardly anything, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, they're attached. There's only 1 meter.
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, if the resale center wants to become separate, we can certainly talk about how to separate the two or put a separate meter in for that building. I'm open to anything to work with them. We've been trying very hard to work with everybody. But I guess the good news is that we only have 2 people that we've had to, if this actually goes through tomorrow, then it will be only the second one we've had to do
Great news.
citywide. Everyone has been basically at this point is caught up, and we are not allowing anyone to go in arrears.
that's good.
So that's significant. And
Yes.
I credit Don a great deal for bulldogging.
Because we had
that.
just last month, we had what, 11 or 12? something?
Yes, we did, and we've cleared up. We have like I said, we have a 4-page procedure. Each page goes through each stage of it. The final one, if I do have to disconnect, which be tomorrow, I have to sign off on it. So I have to physically see everything, make sure that all the steps have been done.
Mhm.
The staff have tried to make contact. Nothing's happened, and only then will I sign off and Mark will go walk it out.
Been fantastic work, though.
Yeah, thank you. It's taken a lot of time, but I think we've got it down to a point where it's fair to everybody at this point.
And in relation to the monies and stuff, you said that you got the engineering back from, you said, I think you said you hadn't looked at it yet, but you got the engineering back for the water.
Yes, I got,
Plant.
Civil West has given me their initial information, and I'm supposed to read it and then contact for me.
Is that the converted to sand?
Yeah, to give them the different options.
Yep.
Available, correct.
Yeah, I
That's
guess we gotta.
Okay, thank you very much. Any questions for Steve before we move on? Counselor Cuthbertson?
Did you have any questions? Or on any movement on getting the mixer put into the,
Yes,
Okay.
yes, there is. I did get a bid in. I believe it is the low bid, and so I'm gonna accept it. And we're gonna put a third company. I got 3 bids, 3 different systems. This one is actually one that will reduce it by 40% in TGHMs. It is a simple mixing unit. It's not extravagant, but it has a mixing unit and a blower. And so right now I'm just looking, the only thing I need to do, because it is over $50,000 in cost. That's okay, but it does put us into the Davis-Bacon prevailing wage area.
oh, okay.
And I need to go up there and see what we have existing in terms of electricity and all that. It's been a while since I've looked at the cabinet up there. I believe it will support it without having to go out for additional work, but if we do, they have to be paid prevailing wage.
And that'll all be part of the SDCs.
I'm gonna pay for this through SDCs and use that offsetting for any cost match, for like, for that $600,000. We can
Yeah.
use that as a cost match.
Okay,
There you go.
awesome.
Yep. Okay, Counselor Cuthbertson, did you have any questions before we move on?
No, thank you.
Okay, good. Let's go ahead. We'll move on to the consent agenda. So the following items are considered to be routine and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member so requests, in which case the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. If the item involves a potential conflict of interest, council members should so note before adoption of the consent agenda. A motion to accept the consent agenda is appropriate.
The vehicle upgrades for the new truck,
Yes,
that was all part of is that part of the budgeted stuff, or was that in the equipment
so what I did was.
reserve? Or-
We spent about 42,000, something, we had about 5,000 left. The total upgrades, I did 3 bids. The lowest was 6,000, something from Pro Trucks up in there. So I used Public Works equipment, about $1,600 of that from Public Works.
Mhm.
And the remainder came from the 5,000 left over that we'd already agreed. to
Budgeted for the truck. Okay.
For the truck.
Cool.
And so what we got for that is a canopy that has integrated side drawers for tools and that type of thing. So it's covered now. A rack that goes over for ladders and anything else, a nice heavy duty rack. Plus I wanted a slide out bed. So when you go back, you can put your stuff on, slide it out. That way you can put all your bags, tools, and things you need, and you're not crawling into a truck.
Right.
Like a joey bed.
Yeah, that's a lot easier.
They're great.
Yep, they are. And they're lockable.
They did it, yeah, they're lockable, and it's a great job. by Quotex.
Excellent.
Or Truck Pros, I should say.
Underground Tech. Check was reissued.
Yes, for some reason that check didn't originally go through.
Okay.
We've had a couple of those now where the checks have not,
Hmm.
for some reason, been received. So we immediately stop it. And if Dawn does not, so one of her tasks is to look through and see what's is cleared.
Right.
And if she doesn't see a check clear, she immediately gets on it. We had that issue with Springbrook, as you recall our conversations. And I want to make sure that we are on top of any check that just sits out there.
I make a motion that we pass the consent agenda. Pay bills, pass minutes. All that fun stuff.
Who like the second?
I'll second.
She gets high. Who wants it?
Oh, no, that's gonna defer.
Yeah,
Counselor
we still need-
Williams?
we need a second still then.
Okay,
I could be the second.
we'll have Counselor Williams.
All right, cool.
Any other questions or comments? Vote. Counselor Myers,
Yes.
Counselor Rich.
Yes.
Counselor Cuthbertson,
I'm gonna abstain.
Counselor Williams,
Yes.
Counselor Lindner,
Yes.
and Counselor Winther, you're not eating.
Yes.
Great, thank you. Okay, resolution 2024-01, a resolution establishing a city master fee schedule.
Oh my, I spent something so simple before you, but it has taken a lot of brain power to, and some of it talks with other cities and attorneys to make sure that this got figured out correctly.
It does not look simple. It's like you put a lot of work.
So, what you're doing tonight is you are approving a master fee schedule that the outline of it is in Exhibit A. Notice that things are not filled in because this is a chicken and an egg kind of thing. You need to pass this, which authorizes me now to go through the ordinances and then prepare an ordinance for you. It says in essence that all fees, et cetera, are now going to be handled by a master city fee schedule through the council. And then we populate the master fee schedule. But once that the language is changed and it refers to the master fee schedule instead of actually either articulating, which half of ours do, as we know, and the other half say to be set by resolution, which is fine, by individual resolution. We then take all of those and put it into the fee schedule that you will then pass by resolution. So one will be an ordinance that changes the ordinance. Then the second one will be a resolution setting the fees. That's, and that we can also establish new fees at that time too. So one of the things that one of the contentious points, and not contentious, but just simply a lot of querying by our attorney was how to make this work, because RS 294-160 says that we have to give the public an opportunity to comment on any new fee or fee increase. So in some cases, like our copy fees, we don't have, we just, the city's always just had a policy. So we have a posted, we've used someone else's, 25 cents for this or that, and we post it up there. So if staff or someone wants to do something, or public, we have something, but it needs, that fee has to be approved by a resolution. So by going this route, what you're doing is basically allowing one document rather than a whole bunch of different resolutions and ordinances to control your fees and rates and that type of thing, rather than individually. Most cities are done individually. And they will, and this document here will actually, they'll say set by, and there'll either be an ordinance or a resolution. And that and then while they're doing it, just making really a master fee schedule. We're going one step further and making the master fee schedule the resolution for everything. So this is step one.
Okay, gotcha.
Well, one thing I don't see is, I know we talked about having a, well, you said that there was some sort of standard scale for tickets and for
I just
citations and stuff like that.
for that.
Okay.
Well, I'll be asking Judge Blake. That's a topic for Judge Blake.
Okay. I just know we talked about having a section for that, and I just
Right,
didn't see
so
it.
at the very end, I have for penalties.
Yeah, it's just not.
It's just.
Oh, okay.
Just on the very last, I just put a placeholder in for penalties, and I'll be asking Judge Blake. That's the reason why in the resolution also says that permitted minority statute, because every time I look at the statutes, every time I look at everyone's ordinances, I pick up new legal things that I was not
Yeah.
aware of.
Okay.
that we need to comply with.
So we just,
Park fees too?
Yes. So we have areas for all of our park fees, for rentals, for community center, for the library.
Yeah, we're trying to make it easier so that when you go to, see what all the costs are of everything that we charge for in the city. That you can go to one document and look at it all.
Place would be very nice. Yes.
Plus updating our land use fees, which are, the last time they were updated was 2010.
Oh, wow.
So that's a very long time to not have any,
Right.
and I just found that document, by the way.
Okay.
So it was buried in our system.
I will make a motion to pass resolution 2024-01.
I'll second that.
Okay, any other comments or questions? All in one place will be very, very concise and easy to use. You can just put it up on the city website,
Yep.
easy peasy.
Easy peasy.
You just point to it, there it is.
did you get a second yet?
Yeah, we got it from Councilor Winter. Are we ready to vote? Councilor Winter,
Yes.
Councilor Linder,
Yes.
Councilor Williams,
Yes.
Councilor Cuthbertson,
Yes.
Councilor Rich.
Yes.
And Councilor Myers.
Yes.
Great, thank you. Right, okay, we're on 5.2 now. Schedule our first budget committee meeting. Steve, do you have a preference on when that should be?
So I do need some time. I need to be able to publish this.
Right.
And so I can do that. So we'll do it two ways this year. One, we'll put it in our billing for this month. And the second one is that we will put it in with our new little newspaper.
Okay.
Now that we have a newspaper again.
Yes.
So with that in mind, the latter part of April would be the best, so we can get all this published accordingly. And it's also after April 15th.
Yes, that's true. It's after the magic day. Like a Wednesday, like the 24th. I'm just spitballing here. Let's see.
Wednesday, the 24th.
Yeah.
April.
April.
April 24th, that actually would be good. We will have meter reads on the 23rd, so the 24th would be great from our viewpoint.
It does, because he's still on the budget committee, he needs to be here. Is
6
that the
o'clock.
only, is that the only Wednesday? he's on?
Well, that's our church night
Oh,
and
okay.
is involved with the youth, so.
Okay. Okay, so if we did it on,
Well, he said Tuesday probably wouldn't work because of,
okay,
because they
Tuesday
got
would be
Peter
okay
rates.
for the most part. I'm not involved
Mhm.
with that, and if I am, it's in the morning, not the evening.
Okay.
okay. 22nd will be our city council meeting. 23rd, 25th. Whatever you folks want to do. Have a preference? We lost Councilor Winter. Okay.
I'm good with the.
I don't have a preference.
You don't have a preference with the 23rd or the 25th? No. Okay.
Mm-mm.
Anybody else?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't seem to matter to me either.
I mean, this could be right after the city council meeting then, right?
Probably
That'd
would,
be pretty long though, right? Do you mean stacking them back to back?
I mean, yeah, back to back.
Ooh, that would be like a 4-hour marathon.
Well, back to back in the week.
In the
No.
day. In the day.
Oh, yeah.
If it was the 23rd, yes, yes.
the first, and actually the first budget committee meeting should be pretty quick. It's generally,
Generally.
Introductions and stuff.
Yeah.
yeah, introductions and also any new people going over kind of what the process is and then voting a new
Chair.
chair and secretary and
Nick.
then everyone leaves. I mean,
And we're all happy.
I'm happy. Yeah, I do an introduction, but I do not present the budget.
yeah, there's no budget presented, so it doesn't take that long.
Was it the 23rd then?
23rd was my first suggestion. The
Okay.
23rd was
And that's what it was then?
23rd at 6 PM.
Okay. April 23rd.
Either or B square. We do need more people. If you know somebody in town that wants to
I reposted. and I
see how
extended
we
the
spend our
deadline.
money,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to talk my wife into it.
Budget committee.
if you want to be able to have your voice heard before we talk about raising fees or something, who knows? Steve will tell us where our deficits are.
Well, it's definitely eye-opening. I know when I first started doing city stuff was with the budget committee. It's really eye-opening what all the costs are.
It is.
It is very
and
much so.
particularly this last few years when the costs have gone up.
You get an explanation of why, you know.
So I did post on social media, I extended the deadline for folks to apply to be on the committee to the 15th.
Okay, that
So
would be great.
I'm assuming we haven't had anybody new.
We haven't heard, we haven't got any.
Okay.
How many positions do we need?
We need
Four.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, last year we tried and tried and tried, nobody came, so.
I'll see if I can walk around the neighborhood and see if I can recruit people.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Invite them here for beers at 6 PM on the 23rd.
You'll-
Hey, you wanna come over and like, let's get together, we're gonna go hang out over at the,
Yeah.
Your,
We have a barbecue over here.
If you mention food, that's always a great.
Oh, that's a big driver, no doubt. Okay, so it looks like April 23rd at 6 PM. And it's the first one. It's not the end of the world. if it makes it.
Yeah, April is, I'm,
Fun time for you, huh?
yeah.
Okay, I think we can go ahead and move on to the next item here on the agenda. Hire temporary employee for budget season. This was a recommendation of the Personnel and Finance Committee. I thought Counselor Lindner could talk to us about it.
Sure. So at our last Personnel and Finance Committee meeting, Steve shared that he could use some extra help, administrative help is my understanding. And he's looking for temp help between April 1st and the end of June, so June 30th, about 20 to 30 hours a week. And I recommend it. I think it would free up Dawn to do other things that are more pending, and that would then free up Steve to work on the stuff that he needs to work on.
Well, going into budget season, they are gonna need a little bit more administrative time to,
Yeah, we have had 3 people in the office before and we needed them. So.
Yeah. Absolutely. Steve, do you want to elaborate on anything? That was
Yeah, this
very
is,
brief.
it's just really it's temporary and it's there to make sure that we can get all the things. This is the hectic time of the year for any government agency. And this will help us tremendously to make sure that changes to the budget get done quickly. And also that we don't lose capacity on all the other things, because utility billing and everything else still have to go out. And calls still need to be done. We're getting a lot of, like I mentioned, a lot of time. I'm spending a lot of time with developers. We have these grants going on. So all those continue even though the budget season is here.
Basically a backfill.
Get back though.
are you looking at posting the job and having them a city employee or just going out to Robert Half or something similar
I'm gonna try
organization?
one half first to see what we can do. And if not, I will go out.
Okay.
and Find somebody who's,
At least with Robert Half, you know, they're certified.
yeah, certified and
Well, they usually do all the
Right.
back,
paperwork.
back
Yes,
again.
that's-
And also,
that's-
you don't have to add any more payroll or anything. It's just basically just a temporary,
Yeah.
yeah.
So do we need to vote on that, or do we need a motion, or can we just move forward with that?
You would, since it came from committee, and a committee that recommends to the council, you will need to have a simple motion and.
Can I make a motion, or does that have to be somebody else? on the committee?
Nope.
Yeah, you can do it.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to hire a temp worker to help out in the office between April 1st and June 30th.
Nick will second it.
Alrighty then. Any other comments or questions? Okay, we're gonna go ahead and vote. Counselor Myers,
Yes.
Counselor Rich. Counselor Cuthbertson,
Yes,
Counselor Williams,
yes.
Counselor Lindner, and Counselor Winter. Great, thank you.
I thought about voting no, just to be mean, but
No.
it's not in me. It's
don't
not
want
in
that
me.
person in our office.
We don't have that council here anymore, right?
No, we don't have that.
Tim knows what I'm talking about.
Ooh, no mean.
So
Okay.
you was in too.
All right, next item is 5.4. Install stop signs at the intersection of Pine and 7th Streets. This is a recommendation of the Public Works Advisory Committee. Councilor Cuthbertson, would you like to talk to that one?
Yeah, there's
Your mic's not on.
sorry, I apologize. There have been a lot of instances, it's kind of an uncontrolled intersection there, and there have been a lot of almost accidents and I'm sure a few fender benders there.
Mm.
So it was brought to our attention that it might be time with all the extracurricular activity over there and the possibility of the more houses maybe going in there, that we should probably go ahead and get some stop signs there. There's a map we can.
There we go.
Uh-huh.
you go.
Ooh, he's gonna zoom in.
So right now, we have a stop sign, right? It's just one stop sign right here. We have the street names on this side, and what we're proposing, actually, Public Works already installed the base for it. I said, council has to, you guys are really on top of this. I
He's
really
Johnny on the
appreciate
spot,
it.
right?
So we have a cone over it, but the stop sign with, that would go right on this side. So you have a stop sign on Pine Street here,
Mhm.
and a stop sign on Pine Street on this side right here. This is, and 7th Street is a throughway.
Okay.
And that also aligns with our comp plan, which makes 7th Street kind of a throughway
Mhm.
yard, so.
Gotcha.
So it adds a stop sign here so that everyone stops before being run over by someone coming through here. That's where we've had issues.
Okay.
Is Pine Street ever gonna be widened to full width on both sides?
That's what our intent is. What we were going to do if Surge ever, the Pacific National Development does this, that would make a full width 8th Street. And then at the same time, we're gonna get Pine Street done at the same time, because he will be extending Pine Street all the way up to 9th Street.
Because I know Pine, there's a little bit of problem with water in there
There is,
to the north.
right, there is, right, there's a slough right here, and that would basically get culvert. It goes under a culvert here on North 7th, and then extends out to the slough next to the rail easement
Okay.
across the library.
Mhm.
Yeah, Pine Street there, as it connects to Ninth, will be underwater, as it usually is.
As it usually is, so and that's one thing that when they did the engineering for this, they would have to do extensive stormwater remediation. of it.
Yeah.
And I think that's one thing that's held them up, is that it's just costly developing this on that land.
Right.
So
I've seen
that's the reason why he did these particular pieces here, because they didn't need any remediation. But if he wants to pack all this with homes, particularly this area, they're probably gonna have to take this area and set it aside for wetlands, either a retention pond or some other remediation up here. And they'll have to install some, I'll call it a high-tech storm drain system in here. I saw the engineering. They've done it up at Dallas. Same thing and same kind of soils.
What makes it high tech?
It's actually a culvert, a gated culvert system. So it's about 3 steps up from our French gravel filler, French drain. The questions though, some of the questions is who's gonna maintain it after it's installed?
City probably.
Yeah, city, yeah, that's usually, yeah, unless we negotiate otherwise. Yeah, and because the EPA is required, DEQ is requiring any stormwater or erosion control that is installed by a contractor, that there have to be plans to take care of it and maintain it afterwards. That's a requirement. So those are all things to consider in Monroe when we develop some of this land, which also asks the question, how developable is this land? And that's I'm using that, gathering this as information for the our UGB. So I know they did a housing inventory, but is that housing inventory actually accurate given the conditions of the city?
Right.
But that's where it is, it's right Right there, if you go, right now, you'll see a cone. That cone is protecting the base rod that the boys were, they were ready to go.
Well, if you have a
They
stop,
had that.
if you have a stop sign on one side, it only makes sense to have it on the other side.
That's what it is.
So now they can go forth and put a stop sign up.
All right, very good.
Do we need a vote or something?
Yes, you need to vote.
Okay.
So traffic control devices,
I make a motion that we put a stop sign at Pine and Seventh on the, what is that, north or west side
South,
or south?
southwest.
Southwest and.
Yes.
southwest side.
I don't see the thing. Okay.
Who would like to second?
I didn't see the compass on there or nothing. I don't know.
Oh, I live with it.
Oh.
Come in here.
Definitely your interest.
And I've been in that house, that house, that house. And that church.
Very next morning.
Oh, Jay.
I've been in
It's
every
really
house in that
bad. I
neighborhood.
I know from delivering mail there that it's just a bad,
Person detected.
it always has been very dangerous.
Okay, any other questions before we vote?
Who seconded? Oh, Council Winter. Okay.
Wholeheartedly, I might add. All right, we're gonna vote. Counselor Myers,
Yes.
Counselor Rich.
Yes.
Counselor Cuthbertson. Counselor Willie.
Yes.
Counselor Winter.
Yes.
Okay, there you go. Go forth, Mark.
I'll be set Team Public Works out there.
There you go. Okay, the next item on the agenda is, and it's in the packet if I remember correctly, review application for storage on city property.
Okay. So in order to make the little form, we need a policy. And so this policy is, and of course, there's also fees involved with it, so set a fee as well. But, so I developed, for your review, a public street storage policy. And essentially, the highlights of it are that there's only one other, has something that is remotely similar. And that is the temporary street use permit, or TSA. And they have it online. I actually signed up. I can now reserve streets in Portland, but I wanted to see what they actually did, and it's a very similar thing. Theirs is for like using it for a week or 2 or 3 for construction or for moving or that type of thing. And you can basically go through any street in Portland as long as it's over 28 feet in width. And you can reserve 20-foot spaces. That's how they do it, 20 feet. And then there's a formula that essentially takes the amount of square footage that you're using in your space, and they apply a dollar amount to it for their fee. So that would be very similar. And when we get to the actual, to create the fee part, which we would need to create after we approve the application. That's another chicken and the egg thing here. So essentially what I did was I said, okay, what's our real intent? And our real intent is we have a few homes that have an RVs and some extra cars. And can we allow them on certain streets to store their vehicles? Okay. We nodded our heads and said that would be okay to do that. So I limited it though to passenger vehicles as we defined it in our parking ordinances, as defined by the DMV, and to motorized recreational vehicles. So a vehicle, as we recall, can be anything you push, pull, motorized, not motorized. So this would be motorized recreational vehicles, such as that's across from City Hall right now. And I gave it basically, I said, well, 20 feet. Okay, let's just limit it to 40 feet by 8.5 feet. So 8.5 feet, anything over 8.5 feet is considered a wide load. So if you look at most recreational vehicles are all 8 feet 6 inches. And so Oregon limits your height to 14 feet and your width to 8 feet 6 inches. So I use that as the parameter. The second part is wear and tear. Well, ideally the road should be about 60. We should be on a 60-foot wide street, and that's easement to easement, not concrete to sidewalk or whatever. It's basically a 60-foot wide street that has a minimum of a 10-foot wide gravel section to it. Now, that is actually fairly common in our town, particularly on main streets, on Commercial Street, on 7th and 8th streets, portions of those. 11th Street would not. Red Hills would not. Red Hills is a 55-foot wide easement. So, and in essence, what we're doing is limiting, and it would need to be on gravel. So if you don't have gravel, I'm going to ask that you have gravel. There's two reasons for that. One is you can spot any spills because we do not want any vehicles on this. DEQ, excuse me, not EPA, DEQ will fine us if we allow that. And you can find it easier on a gravel surface than you can on a grass surface. And the second part is if there is small leaks or things, it's more easily cleaned up by the owner. And you can see there's stipulations in here that any such leaks are, number one, you can't have a leaking vehicle. Number two, if you do having, you are responsible for remediating it. And then there's other restrictions as well, 10 feet from a hydrant, 20 feet from an intersection for vehicles 7 feet in height and under, 50 feet at intersection for vehicles over 7 feet in height. This mimics Oregon state statute. Also, we're limiting it to within adjacent to property owners. So just because you live on Commercial Street doesn't mean you can go park in front of the mayor's house or Councilor Rich's house, or park it up on an easement next to Councilor Meyer's house. So it needs to be within your property lines. I actually had this done last Thursday, but I slept on it and reread it on Friday. Then had questioned and started questioning myself on Saturday. Came to peace with myself on Sunday. And said, okay, I think the council could look this over and come up with questions or how they would wish to proceed. From this point, if whatever you approve, either as is or with modifications, then would go to an actual application form, and then the formula for calculating any fees would then be developed. Then it would come back to you again next month as the application of package with approval of and determination of fees. What I will do is come up with a formula that this is what Portland did, and you can assign a fee to it that you feel reasonable for using storage.
Okay. I do have one question. I mean, I like it. It looks good. The only question I have, and it's really not, what brings it up is I stored my dad's RV once, but it was on my property, so it's no big deal. But here it says the vehicle must be titled in the applicant's name. That doesn't mean it has to be the landowner's name. Is that true or not?
So the first one is that you have, the storage may only be adjacent to and within the vehicle owner's property lines.
Okay, so like if you're a relative though.
That's correct. That is actually, you brought up exactly what
Yeah, that's all I'm going to
gave a
do.
little angst over was, should we allow a person, my answer was no.
Okay,
My answer to myself was no. My recommendation to you is no. And the reason why is because we get into all sorts of enforcement issues when I go after the property owner for storing something, and it's not my vehicle.
Yeah.
It's my buddy's vehicle, or it's my family relative. And I said, well, maybe we should extend it to family members. And then I went down a whole.
I just wanted to, play devil's advocate, to make sure, because I could foresee somebody saying, oh, my dad's going on a vacation. I'm gonna store his RV here. And, it's gonna be a month and he'll come back, whatever. That sets us up with a bunch of liability, like you say, because
Our attorney said that, he says you can do that, but she recommended no.
I would say no. So,
I did struggle with that a little bit. That's the reason why I gave you that little sequence of me going through this, because there are folks that do have family members. And I do know in one case specifically, with all the cars parked in front of their house, that there is a family members that are being stored there.
yeah,
And so the idea is you can store your cars. And if you have room for your other family members, and the other criteria too in here is that if I have any issues with how many cars or vehicles, I will pull Chris Barnes in for, Fire Chief Barnes in for consultation, and his recommendation will supersede the request. Because we have cases where cars and things are blocking access to the
right.
house. You don't want
Perfect, can't get there.
So I've got a question on the maintenance and cleanliness part B, the vehicle leak.
Mhm.
I almost wonder if it's a little bit too lax, like I don't even think we should reference any leakage must be abated. I think it should just say no vehicle may leak fluids of any kind. Any leaks will be reported to DEQ and and the owners will be fined. I feel like that second sentence is kind of like, but there's a little loophole, you're gonna have to clean it up yourself, and then you're gonna have to pay fines. Like, I personally think no leaks. If there's a leak, you're on the hook.
Yeah, but I think this is clarifying that basically that they're going to be responsible if they're,
It leaks, they gotta
If
take care of
there's-
it and we'll have to
yeah.
pay for it.
like, I know that they're not allowed to have a leaky vehicle, but also there's
But if it does.
there's also additional issues that you run into, not just not being able to park there, but, basically also they're responsible for cleaning up the mess and serious leaks have to be reported to DEQ for.
Yeah, I mean, I understand, yeah, I guess I just feel like I was reading it, and I was like, yeah, no vehicle leaks. But if they leak, then but I understand you're covering all the bases and,
Sometimes vehicles that are stored will leak. They
yeah.
will,
Yes.
and that's not intentional. It's
Or,
just.
and it wasn't leaking maybe when they parked it there,
They
but
parked it, It did.
temperatures changed and all that stuff.
And the other part of it too is we're saying no leaks, but if it does start, can I allow them to put some sort of large strip pin? To make sure that it's abated before they take care of it. As we, I think, mentioned, there's sometimes some help. It's helpful to have a little bit of leeway
Yeah, that's true.
to make sure that we don't get into this unintentional. I think Councilor Winther pointed that out, and it could get out of control, maybe not with this group, but who knows, down the road. This, by the way, is very unique. I have not seen any town anywhere have this kind of policy.
Leave it to Portland.
Yeah,
Right, did they start,
They don't allow, they only allow it on very limited, like a week or two with,
Okay.
with an extension.
Okay.
We're doing 6 months with a possible extension.
It talks about personally owned passenger vehicles and then motorized recreational vehicles. What about those ginormous fifth wheels?
They're not motorized.
So they wouldn't be.
Nope. I'm not allowing any trailers or any trailer having stuff on it, like what's on Shelby right now. Anything of that nature.
pop-up
Oh,
campers?
so they would fall under this.
They would not fall under this. And Red Hills is also a 55-foot wide street, easement to
So it
easement,
wouldn't be allowed anyway.
and wouldn't be allowed.
Yeah.
There's no problem.
And there's no gravel. So
Mhm.
we're really talking about the undeveloped,
I got it.
partially developed streets of Monroe.
Understood, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for the clarification.
And if these streets ever get developed that way, then storage will
It'll go
probably
away.
not will go away.
We do have a storage place in north of town.
We do.
It's
And
like capacity, I've heard.
Oh, is it?
Well, that's what I've heard.
Also,
Enough cars.
Oh, well, they could expand maybe.
we're only really in town right now, there's only 3 people that I'm aware of that would apply for this at the moment. Because everyone else doesn't really have that issue. And also as soon as a vote, if this is approved, then I can also talk to other, because we also said the last time, what would happen if we don't have an application? I said, well, storage would be unenforceable until we have an application.
Right.
So by having a policy in place that says this is what can and cannot be, then I can go after some of the folks that are storing trucks and or trailers and things with junk vehicles.
And say you need to apply.
You need, in their case, sorry, the council has decided that you're storing this here, it is not, cannot happen. You need to move it to your driveway.
Any other questions?
I think it's a really good starting point.
It is, thank you. It's a starting point.
Oh, I got my neighbors blow it off the city.
Okay, I'm entertaining a motion.
I wonder if maybe we want to take it to, to our work session, just to, basically, well, give us time to roll it over and stuff before we pass it as is and move forward.
Well, is it,
Could have further discussion basically after people had a week or two to
plus or minuses and things?
Agreed.
think about what, if there's anything that issues or whatever we want to discuss. And then basically we can maybe pass it the next council meeting if, I know that puts off that application a little bit, but
Well, it also puts off enforcement.
yeah.
So, and I do have enforcement issues right now, and I have neighbors complaining.
Well, here's the other thing is if we pass it, that doesn't mean we can't amend it later.
Exactly.
True.
Well, and you're passing a policy. I mean, I agree with you. You should discuss as much as you wish.
Right.
What you're doing is you're basically passing a policy, not a resolution, not an ordinance.
Okay.
What you did was you already passed an ordinance saying you would have an application. You would have a process for applying for this. The next step with this is really the application form itself and the fees. And this would be with that, and that would be passed as a resolution. So at that point, that resolution then would contain any changes or amendments, including the fees and all that. This would have to be put out on as a public notice so that people could have time to comment on it as well.
Oh, okay.
So this is not like you are.
It's not set in
there's
stone
nothing
if
set in
we,
stone Because there's no permit fees or anything else, and it's a
Just step
policy.
one.
oh, okay.
It's guidelines for establishing.
I was thinking more of like this was like a resolution. It's not that we can't like re-resolution it, but I mean.
No, it's, this is the three things that we would have to do. Of the four things, like, if we pass an ordinance, that would be the highest level, that's a law. A resolution is council intent. This is how we want things to be.
Mhm.
And that it's not, it's direction and how things work. The next one would be approving a policy, and a policy would be something like this. An employee handbook would be a policy. The third one would be saying, yes, we would like to put a stop sign in. We'll vote on it. Yes, we think that there should be an extra hire for a few months. So those are kind of your four levels of kind of from top authority down to kind of the lowest level approval of the councils do. This one's the second from the bottom, meaning it's a policy, easily changed. What you're doing is basically saying, let's go forward, that this is what we intend in our application. Maybe we'll change it and expand it later. Maybe we'll shut it down. Maybe we will say, if you have any leaks, we're not gonna fool around with it. We're just gonna go to the DEQ. Maybe you want to expand it to dump trucks, include dump trucks. Those are all things that you can easily change. But the next level would be take this policy, it would be attached to a resolution, and then there'd be fees associated with that. So you'd have like exhibit A and exhibit B. attached to a resolution. At that point, that's when your intent goes forward as a vote. So right now, what you're doing is saying this policy, we agree with the policy. And please go forward with it and talk to us next month with the resolution to make
To formalize it.
and then we can certainly discuss it at the work session to modify the policy
Okay.
before it gets through the resolution.
So motorized recreational vehicles, you got OAR 735 in here. And I presume that's doesn't include marine vehicles.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes, that's the reason why I put the definitions in there.
Right, because we'll have to make sure that people understand when it says motorized recreation vehicle. Some of them might take that to mean a boat, but OAR covers.
That as a motorized recreational vehicle that carries
Land vehicle.
land vehicles with the intent of allowing people to habitate.
Yep.
For limited periods of time, I believe is what the definition says.
Well, my opinion is we need to talk about it, but we also could get the policy going and discuss it before we do the resolution and go forward.
Okay.
I mean,
No, that makes sense. I was just under the impression that basically this would be the thing going forward.
I
and
mean,
so
I could see some people saying,
That
well,
was why initially I was,
yeah, I only have a
concerned
camp
about-
trailer, not an RV. How come I can't park my camp trailer there?
And those can all be brought up at
Yeah.
work session, and we can modify it because it's a policy. Easily modified at work sessions, you know, because you're not really making a decision about the policy. You're reviewing it, making your discussion and decisions. It's at the resolution phase at the next meeting. That you, that that's when things get serious.
Yeah, because I could see people saying that, you know, we're discriminating based on, you know, the level of,
Old Town and New Town and all that stuff. or what?
like, well, I could see that happening, you know, gravel versus the paved road, plus this person has a motorized vehicle, RV, but this person has a towed RV. And we're discriminating against those people who could only afford a vehicle plus the tow vehicle versus, you know,
But I think we also want to be easily moved if in case we want to revoke the,
They need to be.
Permit
for
and-
Fire department for emergency response.
yeah,
yeah,
I think
and it
that's
can't be
the
a
thought
utility
behind
trailer
it.
full of crap. It has to be
Right,
something that could be,
and there can be no storage in these,
right.
so you're not using it for storage.
So there's a lot of different things we could talk about. But I like the having the policy so we can at least start things.
Okay.
We need a
And that's
motion.
it just as a simple vote, and what you can phrase your motion, say, you know, if we would like to, you know, move forward with the policy as written, with the opportunity to discuss, and make any modifications prior to, the resolution.
I make a
Something to that
motion
effect.
just like he's. Just like Steve just said. Yeah, I make a motion that we accept this public street storage policy with the caveat that we, you know, discuss other things at a work session before we finalize into a resolution.
I'll second that.
Any other comments or questions before we vote?
I'm gonna leave that up to you guys. A work session would be a great time to sit down and calculate the fees and to decide how that's going to be.
How was Portland calculating it when you created
Portland calculates it by taking a dollar amount and then taking how much space you're using.
do you know how many dollars per square foot it was? So was it like $5?
As I recall, and then they multiply by the number of days that you're requesting it. So in their case, it's not long-term, it's short-term. But let's say you wanted to take 2 spaces, so 40 feet, for 10 days, it was $81.
Oh,
Yeah, but that's
10 days.
Portland, 10 days where parking is impossible.
Maybe, yeah.
And I'm not suggesting, I'm just, I'm just the counselor asked, you know, what Portland did, and that's how they did. I thought it would be better to have something more like 21 cents or 25 cents per square foot, over an extended period of time. That runs you about the same, that would run you about the same as what other storage units are charging. So that's another consideration for you is, you know, are we giving the folks in town a benefit, right? For that, I mean, I don't have an answer for that. That's the reason why I suggest I'll let the council decide what dollar amount they want to do.
One quick question, is the square footage based on the vehicle or based on the spot we designate for that vehicle?
But it's based upon the actual size of the vehicle. So if you have a 32-foot sea view or 38-foot, that's 8 foot 6 inches wide, you would multiply that together. Some people may have a standard 19-foot by 6.5 foot truck.
Yeah.
You know, so it's going to be a different level of storage. So that accommodates how much space you're taking. And again, these fees that people are asking, the fees are for making sure, because we have to inspect it. We have to make sure they're not, you know, have to poke our heads underneath it every once in a while, make sure it's not leaking. We want to make sure the wheels are chalked and
It's not blocking traffic.
it's not blocking or impeding traffic or other hazards. So
My pickup's 22 feet.
the area, and yes, and some are up to 22. Yes, you have a big pickup. Long pickup.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, we've got a first and a second. We're ready to vote?
Yep.
Okay. Counselor Myers,
Yes.
Counselor Rich.
Yes.
Counselor
Yes.
Counselor Williams.
Yes.
and Counselor Linder.
Yes.
Counselor Winter.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Again, nothing really goes into place except that by adopting the policy as it is, we are kind of agreeing that some streets and some kinds of storage, such as trailers, are not appropriate for our town. And that way I can send letters out to one individual just saying that that's how it is. And let
I
them,
think there might be some comments. I don't know if we want to.
Oh, in the chat.
Oh, is there comments on the chat?
let's take a look here. Up, there we go.
Yeah, there would be a limit on the storage time. I think we're doing 6 months at the most with possibility of extension. But it has to meet all this criteria and make sure that it's not a safety issue as well where it's parked.
Yes.
Um,
And that's why, and the leaks are important, and the gravel, and I'm not saying that if you have a grass easement that you can't do it, but you need, at your expense, put gravel down to our level.
Yeah.
The gravel is not going to stop any leaks, but it does make it a little easier to clean up. And also slows it down a little bit before it gets to the ground, which we do not want it to be on.
And I presume, we didn't really talk about this yet, but we'd have some kind of inspection schedule.
Yes, and that's what the fee's gonna have to go for us, because Public Works is, or myself, one of us, staff are gonna go around and visit the few people we have. I don't anticipate this being utilized a lot. We do, it's really an accommodation for a couple people.
Especially after the first big rain, you're not gonna wanna check them.
Yes, we are.
Thanks for those comments.
Ready to move on?
Mhm.
Okay. Next item on the agenda, city backflow plan.
Well. So we need a city backflow plan. And Chuck Schultz is helping me with it. The fees, but we really do need a plan and in place and filed. So any home that has a backflow device, and a backflow device is typically used with irrigation. The city has it a few places. Red Hills, all the Red Hills has it, every single home. And these devices have to be inspected annually and by the owner of the home. And their report filed with the city, and we have to keep track of it. So just gonna be sending notices out in the billing that this is going to happen. We also have to have a spec, we don't have to have a trained backflow tester on staff, but we do need what's called a specialist. It's a person that understands and can, so they can implement the plan. Usually it's one of your public works people need to go up to Portland for a few days and get trained. And then the plan itself basically just says this is where all the devices are. This is what we're doing each year to make sure they get tested. And we have to have files in place showing all the testing that's been done.
Are we looking at having legacy homes around here, backflows in?
The one, well, there's, that they have wells or connected to their homes, yes. And I know, for instance, the Masons, Torrin and Eliza have one.
Yeah. I know that when I put mine in, I wasn't allowed to connect to my well to the house. My well's only for, and that was specifically because they didn't want to put a backflow in, I guess.
Right. So we will have to go around and identify. That's always the sticky part, because some
Yeah.
people have it, some people don't know they have it.
My area has, I think there's a few wells,
Right.
so.
And we know that all of Red Hills does. So all of those will have to be inspected. What I will try to do is find a person that will give us a city rate, you know, the state gives us a list of people. They don't recommend anybody, just give us a list of qualified and licensed backflow.
Inspectors or whatever, yeah.
And Francis Slutzman, there's others that do this. To see if we can negotiate a rate for city, so that they're not paying the highest rate. It's not terribly expensive, but you know, you're looking at $65 on average.
Stutzman Brothers out of Albany.
Yeah, they're out of, they have several locations now.
I've used them quite a bit.
Stutzman's quite good. They did all of our backflow council governments. So. Anyway, I just want to bring that to your attention, that will be another regulatory item that has crossed.
Well, it's about time. I mean, I remember we were talking backflows back in '96 when I moved here, so.
And it's, yes, you're right. Since I've gone through all our things that's been discussed time to time, I found records from time to time. I've been pulling all sorts of things, but
Yeah.
Chuck reminded me this year, says, you know what, you guys really need this, so we're gonna do it.
All right. All right, I'm gonna move on. Last item under new business, approved new committee members. We have a couple applications in the packet. We've done the same first then, and they're with us tonight. One is for Public Works Committee and the other is for the Parks Committee.
Yes.
Can I vote no on both of these? I didn't say it. I didn't say it.
I just waited. It's just been
So Commissioner Eastridge has been on committees before, and we appreciate his perspective and his feedback as always. I see no issue.
I think it's up to you, right, to
I
approve board members?
You are all here.
Isn't it?
The man is
Steve?
here in the room with us.
Isn't it on the mayor to
Ask him
decide
questions.
committee members?
Oh,
Well, I just think, but it's the mayor that appoints them, so.
I have to abstain because I'm a vice president under him for the cemetery.
Okay.
No, I think this would be a great addition.
Yep.
To our.
Tim is awesome.
Positions.
Okay. There you go, Tim. You'll get a letter from me. I don't think it'll be a bill. Do you want it to be a bill?
Oh, are we charging for that?
The position doesn't pay very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, so don't ask for anything. You're approved, sir. Thank you very much.
We did 1,000% raise this year, but
Mr.
times
Mayor,
zero, it's still nothing.
I had a young lady
Yes.
coming up the street as I was going to the city hall today on a skateboard. And I asked her, well, where are you skateboarding? She said, oh, anywhere. She said, but it would be really nice if we had a skateboard park. And I said, well, would you be interested in talking to council about it? And she considered it. I'm not expecting her to be here tonight. But I also invited her to the Parks Committee as well. I thought that
Very good.
Nice.
she was very polite and
Nice.
I was actually very surprised that some senior was gonna ask her a question about skateboarding. I do remember riding skateboards, but mine at the time when the polyurethane wheels were about this big and about that wide. And my brother and I were doing all those things that Tony, whatever his name does, down the streets before we killed ourselves. And we just laughed and did it again. Now the boards are huge, but anyway, I thought I hope that that would be fun to have someone that was
Oh,
saw
absolutely.
things from a different
I think
perspective.
it'd be a great perspective to have.
Okay. All right, moving on to old business. We ready? Here we go. This is a reminder that we have a special city council meeting on Wednesday, April 10th at 6 PM. It will be here at the Monroe Community Center. We'll be receiving public comment on proposed cost increase for additional waste services. That's just a reminder.
That's for the, getting the recycle and the.
Correct. That's correct.
And Steve, you got information from Republics, like, I think they said that they could give you a thing to include in the
A full.
water bill of like the explanation of
Right. It's also the same one I put online as well.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's already on the city
Yeah,
website.
and I'll take the same one, and that's on my, I'm gonna have a busy insert this.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. We already talked about the budget committee recruitment. So if you know anybody who is a resident,
They have to be in town.
they're here and they have to be a voter, in Oregon preferably. Please see if they would like to, see if you can charm them with pizza or cookies or something. I don't know. So, sounds like Counselor Myers is gonna ring doorbells.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Try to coerce my my domestic partner, yeah, my spouse.
Okay, all right, very good. Law enforcement, IGA and town hall update. Well, we basically got that already.
Yep.
Sheriff.
From the sheriff himself.
Yeah, he said he wanted a couple dates for him to entertain, so we can figure out which one.
So perhaps in the work session, we can come up with a couple dates.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good idea.
Send it his way. Yeah.
Next up is the library IGA update. You have one for us, Steve? No?
The update is we're ongoing. The next step is really to decide if I want to modify what she sent or whether I just want to rewrite the IGA.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
There are pros and cons to each, but negotiating things. I just feel very strongly, given the janitorial review that I had from professionals, that their use of the library does put wear and tear on it. There's just no way around it.
Oh, absolutely.
And so who's paying for that? As I pointed out to her and to council, is the city, but do the citizens of Monroe have to pay extra for a library that's a regional library? And that's really what it boils down to. So we'll see.
That's part of their operations of
Yeah, it should be part of their operations costs. Anyway, I am still looking at it. We have not set another time, but we did say early April.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
so that's the update.
Okay, stay tuned. Last item in old business, extension of time for the Crowsons RV over at the old gas station.
Yes, Councillor Cuthbertson brought this up last meeting to make sure we were proactive. And they're still there. They're not, they're getting their lives back together again. And what they're doing is appropriate. They're not connecting to, dumping stuff anywhere. I mean, it's just that it's there. And so to ensure that if people come to City Hall or to you and say, why do they get to do this? I thought would be appropriate at this point that we, the council, consider granting them an extension of time for that, just so that we have it on record that you are aware of it and you grant.
Right. That's a good idea.
So we need to make a motion on that.
A motion and a,
Please.
I'll make a motion that we extend time for Crowson's RV based on the situation.
Do we need to say a certain amount of time?
you can if you wish, or make it however long you want.
Does everybody want me to
I would
revise
s-
that to a certain time?
I think so, just so we have, and then basically we can review at that point. But
30 days, 60 days?
90 days.
I would do 90 and then we'll review at that point.
Okay, I revise my motion to 90 days.
Okay.
I'll maintain my second.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? Okay, we'll vote. Counselor Winther, Counselor Linder.
Yes.
Counselor Williams,
Yes.
Counselor Cuthbertson,
Yes.
Counselor Rich.
Yes.
And Counselor Myers. Great, thank you. Okay, we're down to city events. So we have a festival. I will provide an update. Hopefully we'll have a budget for you, the map. Everything that's going to be going on for the festival, schedule of events. I'm still working on all of that. We're trying to put that together, but it is moving forward. So
And that's going to be on the 18th, right?
that is correct.
Will there be a trolley this year?
Working on it.
Oh,
So I may be asking for volunteers.
I enjoyed it last time.
Good. You want to enjoy it again?
I would. I would enjoy it again.
So last time, last time we had the trolley, we had counselors that would do the tour. They would
Yeah.
get a script that you read through. And it seemed like everybody enjoyed it.
I have a board meeting that week.
If there is a lot of this on your eyesight.
A May duct tape tank could be really cold. Depends.
Some kids that were high school, they were like
That's
6 times. I was like, you've heard this
I might be
before. They're
back
like,
on
do it again.
Too bad. Sometimes history doesn't change, okay?
Sometimes history repeats itself.
Yes, anyways, I will give you a full update next council meeting.
Yeah, I might be back.
Okay, so we're gonna move down to other business 7.4, which is committee reports from each committee chair. So 11:35 project. I've got a note here that the meetings need to start again. So
We,
John Breganis is in the audience.
we have the commissioner himself here.
Yes.
Head of the 11:35.
Well, I saw your,
Go up to the microphone, John.
as I say, I saw your email that money's there.
Yeah.
Yes, I sent an email out,
Yes.
basically recapping yes, after Wednesday's meeting. The project's moving forward and that you had recommended at that point that we should restart, get the 11:35 back together again. And so I put it on the agenda. So we can move forward. There we go.
I want to quickly go back to everything with the trail. The question about building to the standard of the rail, when it came up with the county purchase the rail bed. And at that time, the county legal counsel said that that was not required. And it came up a little bit on this section and was quickly brought back.
Good,
I mean,
thank you.
we just started this, that's why we find out, but the issue probably is the fiber. And they're saying if you do something to a railroad, you have to be willing to tear it out if the railroad.
And that's what our stipulations were for the path. And so council at the time, county council, iterated the same thing you said, which is that as long as we're okay with it being taken up at some point, or anything that's in that north, gateway park area, is you either have to remove it or be willing for it to be taken away. So as long as you're okay with that, go forth.
Yeah, if it's on the railroad.
Right, and I think this is, from what I understand from Gordon Kurtz, this is really about the utilities.
Yeah, I
Thank
mean,
you.
we all know that we have fiber buried in every rail bed around. It's just has to be a certain standard.
Mhm.
Right, and he
Right.
said that might be very expensive, but they're gonna try and see if they can come up with a workaround to it. Thank you, I appreciate that, because I recall that that was in our agreement.
It might be easier for me to go up 6th Street East than under the power lines.
It'd be really nice to come up Commercial Street, give you better.
Yes, it would.
Thank you, Commissioner. I appreciate that.
So it's not like everybody's up to date. Last Wednesday, we did have a meeting with Elliott. We had just heard that morning that the project has been funded. And the first $100,000 to set the project. So that came as a surprise. Since we've been waiting around so long for this. And again, I don't know what Steve talked about, but the next three, next three phases are a design phase, which would be 9 months to a year. And then there would be a construction phase. The steps would be, first is they will draft the agreement. We already have copies of that draft agreement. Looks like every review by the city council. Okay. Then there's the long-term watershed council, because they have funds for all the watershed budgets. And there's a coordination with Slush Tribe, make sure what role they want to play. And some more with the ODOT, just to make sure we document their agreements. Overall big picture that has to happen.
Right, and to those, according to Elliot, that's all he funded in this fiscal year ending September 30th. So his expectation is that everything that John had just mentioned be accomplished prior to September 30th.
So that all gets done, and then in their next budget cycle, they're hoping that they'll get the funding to actually move forward with the project or the construction phase.
Yeah, the funding is earmarked there. Funding is there. Once we found that the budget, money was. They only have the money coming in to the set up. Starting with the sign phase.
Okay.
Sign phase, that's a long, 9 months to a year. And that's where there's been a lot of questions about what this actually look like, how it's gonna work. It's a design phase where we had a lot of interaction back and forth to finalize the final design. All parties agreed to that final design before any construction bids are put out. Let's make sure. And again, like the Longtown Watershed Council has secured the funds, cost sharing. I guess.
And the water intake too, right?
And coordinating the water intake.
Mhm.
Seems to me like in the design phase where there's no need to make sure the city's actively involved in those discussions and making sure all the issues are brought to the table and factored into the design phase. And that would be my comment. You know, resurrect the 1135 batteries, you can also take on some of that work.
Think so.
Would the design phase also include the upstream folks affected by this?
Yes.
Okay, so that's in the design. Next phase, that would be when Longtown Watershed, I know they're already working with folks.
There's 9 individuals above the dam that could be impacted by that, the drop in the water. And they're already talking to them. They're working on it.
And they also mentioned creeks and tributaries and things that might be affected and how that would all be during the design phase.
That sounds like a good idea to go ahead and bring the 1135 project committee back up. Yep.
And I've been keeping them posted for the last year.
Mhm. Yep.
What's not happening.
Mhm.
See if they all want to still participate.
Right.
People are, want to participate.
Absolutely. Yep. Okay. Thanks, John.
Thank you, John.
So do we need to do something about, like, basically if we're gonna reestablish that ad hoc committee, do we need to do?
No, it's, once you establish it, it can come and go as it needs to.
Okay.
That's the nice piece about it.
Okay.
And we never went away with just resting.
We're hibernating.
Yeah, well, and also if, it's a good idea to reach out to everyone and see that they're all still interested in being on it, or if you need to recruit some more people or what have you.
Send anything out, reading that.
Okay. Okay. That sounds good. Okay. Next committee report, we've got budget. We don't have a committee chair yet, so we've already decided on the first committee meeting, so it's April 23rd. So that's set. Economic development, we're wanting to set up a meeting with Darren Nichols, Benton County.
Tentatively, the third Thursday of April, if we're available.
Okay, yeah.
They will come down and talk to us.
Okay, perfect.
So that sounds like we have some entertainment for that.
Third Thursday? What is that?
It's the 19th, 18th.
It is. Yeah, the 18th. So April 18th. Okay. Okay, so that'll be something for us to look forward to.
That would be at 6 o'clock also.
Correct.
Are we gonna, is this our makeup from the one we just got canceled?
Yes.
So there you go. Personnel and finance.
Actually, what that the work plan should have been down in Public Works.
Oh, okay.
Personnel will be finishing the HR handbook.
Oh, that's right.
Employee handbook.
Yep.
Because I have it all edited now and ready for send it out to the group and you can review it and if we can. I'd like to have that at the April, if the HR committee convenes and agrees and get it before the council so that we can have it approved.
Okay. All right. Next is ordinance. We haven't scheduled anything to talk about short term.
We have not yet.
We need to do that. Okay. All right, let me put that down as an action item. Rentals, okay, parks. Do you want to provide a sort of update, Counselor Cuthbertson?
At this point, I'm just going through all my old information that we have for Parks Master Plan, and then we'll look at what we have from our rare student and see how we can add that, and then see what else we're lacking to see what we need to move forward.
We haven't set a date for that, have we?
To meet,
For parks, yes, I can't remember if we did.
we did not.
Okay, we have.
We need to set one for parks and one for public works. Our last public works meeting didn't quite pan out for everybody, so we had to postpone it.
I think what I'll do is I'll send an email out to everybody. We can pick and choose dates.
That sounds good.
All right, we're down to counselor comments. Anybody have anything they would like to share? Anything that they have a burning question they want to ask?
I could just provide an update from what we talked about last time. I don't know if that's interesting to anybody. Well, I guess actually this is relevant. The Oregon Paid Leave program is in effect, and our new hire Luke might be using some of that. So we did hire him. He would need to apply to use it, but if he qualifies, he might be off for 12 weeks.
He said 2 weeks.
Oh, 2 weeks, just 2 weeks to care for a newborn.
Right, yeah, he would be applying with the Oregon Paid Leave program. It's like an insurance program, and they would be paying him.
Oregonians pay into it.
Yes, yeah, we all pay into it. Then the staff have been paying into it already. Started at the beginning of the year, so.
There's some other HR projects
Yes.
that I shall not bore you all with.
Anything else? Okay, we'll move to mayor comments. I have a few, so. So my son and I went to the state capitol in February with his homeschool group, and we met up with Senator Anderson, and we also met up with Representative Gomberg. Both gentlemen were very kind. Senator Anderson sat down, asked my son questions, and it was very cool. They had a very good conversation. And then Representative Gomberg, he took us on a tour of the House chambers that I've never been in. So that was pretty cool. So I got to go up and, hold the big gavel and everything. And that was pretty cool. So it was pretty cool for me too. So I just wanted to mention that. Also, Senator Merkley has got a Benton County Town Hall on April 7th, and we're all invited to go if we want to go. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. They're having like a meet and greet with the local elected officials. So if you're interested, let me know. I will probably go. It's Sunday, so Sundays are weird, but I'm planning on going. So let me know if you want to go. We could ride up together if you want.
And where is that at?
It's going to be at the Armory up in Corvallis.
It's, where Fred Meyer's is, off of Kings.
I do.
It's where, it's just past there.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes.
There you go. Their point of reference is very important one. I also wanted to mention that the library director, Ashley Chavez, will be here at our next city council meeting, so we can ask her questions.
She'll be giving her annual report,
Yeah.
the one that we haven't seen, and she says, there's like provision for an annual report in this IGA.
Yes. I don't think we've seen one since. I also want to mention, I sent an email out to everybody on the council and the planning commissioners to get your SEI filing done before April 15th.
And I would like, go ahead, Counselor. I would like to add that if you don't file in time, they will hunt you down and you'll have to pay a fee.
No, on the 15th, I did.
I didn't know that the first time, I guess I got a PO a couple days late or something, and I thought I paid it like 3 times, and it's not been paid still, I guess, they said last time I talked to him, so I paid it again, so I'm waiting to hear if it's finally paid or not, so don't have to owe it, because it's really hard to pay the money.
It is hard.
I'm
Yeah.
not sure why it's so hard for them to take the money.
And it's online.
They're easy
now.
finding
The
it, but-
SCI
Oh, yeah.
is online.
Oh,
Yeah,
good.
but I will say that their online form is a little clunky.
It
It
is
is.
funky. I don't like it at all.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
even better when it was on a piece of
Well,
paper, but
yeah,
I like
I
to
know,
insert
right.
trees, so.
So my daughter has a business. Fortunately, she had a business in Amazon and consulting for a very long time and but anyway. This year, if you have a family member who has a business and they're running their house, it's not, last year I just said, yes, I had, it's called Active Action Brands and we're listed.
Right.
This year, if they contribute 10% or more, you have to list the members
Yeah.
of that.
The actual
It's
client
very
names.
invasive.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
But
like
that's
something new that they passed.
Yes.
At the Capitol, yeah.
We all still are part of SMAC.
Oh, yes.
So if you are filing, make sure that it gets down to the part that says, are you lobbying or whatever? Your answer is, you are part of a lobbying group.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I forgot about that part.
Yeah, I did too.
Whoops, I'm
I
sorry,
figured,
Steve.
I figured that's on him.
Yeah.
I think you could probably call them that. They're very nice. Like if you have any problems or whatever, they've always been very
And
nice.
the other part of that, and I'll just, because it's happened to me twice now trying to file, it errors, the database errors out on me.
Oh,
And so there's glitches in the programming and I have a call into them saying, we'd love to comply with this, but you really do need to fix your database.
Yeah, I'll call him and say, hey, I clicked yes.
Yeah. They're using, was it Microsoft Net?
All right.
There you go.
Well, fun times there.
What is SMAC stand for again?
Small municipal
Action Coalition.
action coalition. Basically,
Commissioners have to acknowledge that.
Yes. No, you do not. Only the city council.
All right, I did it when I was planning commissioner.
oh, we didn't have one before.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did.
Really?
Smack? Oh, that was new.
Well, not smack, I mean, the actual, the form.
Oh,
You
no.
have to
You
file.
do have to.
Oh, yeah. You have to file. Oh, okay.
Smack.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, we didn't have a lobby group like before the last
You
year.
had
or
the
whatever.
form. Then file.
Communities.
Okay, I want to move on because we had a counselor that needs to leave. Okay. I also, in the packet, a donation was made to the city from my family. And I have a picture of the donation items and a letter that accompanied the donations. And the plan that the family would like, if possible, for the city to do, the donated items.
I discussed this with the mayor, but our IGA is a little vague on donations. You can read it that any donations actually go to the library and become property of the library. So I asked the mayor to kind of temporarily house it in City Hall until that gets clarified, so it could get snatched up and sold at auction, and support the library. I wouldn't want that to happen. So
Yeah, that library, the museum's even taking stuff down there for display, for temporary display, and they wanted to take it.
yes, because our IGA gives them latitude.
But it wasn't even the IGA, it was an outside entity that they
Really, we're gonna fix that.
Yeah.
That's good.
Well, I mean, the museum is not part of the city.
It's not part of the city.
There was an agreement between them to display there, and they rented the place. They were ready to take it.
Thank you for the donation, Mayor.
It's a beautiful, it still has ink spilled on the inside the drawers. It's really.
So that's why I'm saying it's a very smart idea to hold on to it, so we get it straightened out.
Yeah, well, my sister-in-law's mother passed away and this was part of her collection. The family wanted to donate it to the
And I'm
library.
not saying anything bad about library people, it's just.
Everything else, and just a reminder about committee meetings are on the city website, as they always have been. The next city council work session is April 8th at 6 PM. It'll be here at the community center. Beyond that, I don't have anything else. I'm going to adjourn. And everybody have a lovely evening.
Thank you.